Okay, welcome to Heavy Metal Frenzy. I'm Joe Sullivan, the infamous Butcher. Today we're going to be talking about the Black Sabbath reunion concert that we saw 2 weeks ago and Megadeth's Gigantour that we saw last week. And I'm going to be reviewing the concert with my lovely wife Julie, the She-Wolf. Here's the She-Wolf.
Hi.
That's sweet.
Hi.
So I guess first thing with the Black Sabbath show. So I'd never seen Black Sabbath before. I'd seen Ozzy before 4 times, and 3 of those times I saw him with you. I've been a big Black Sabbath fan for over 20 years, and I always was hoping that I could catch a tour. I know they did some smaller tours with Ozfest and things like that, but I'd never actually caught that. So last year, when they were talking about recording an album and they were going to do a tour, I was very excited about that. It was going to be the first album in 35 years with Ozzy as the singer. And then Tony Iommi got sick with lymphoma, and Ozzy still did a tour like with his band. I think Geezer played with him. But there was no Black Sabbath tour last year, so we weren't sure when it was going to happen.
Right.
So when this tour came up and the Holmdel date was announced, we jumped on it, got tickets right away. It was one of the first dates announced. And new album's great. I love 13. It's very throwback. It sounds like stuff from the 70s. It kind of sounds like the Sabotage album to me.
Okay.
So I was really looking forward to it. I didn't look at the set list ahead of time, so I wanted to be surprised. I knew they were going to...
I looked at it.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you.
The set was good. I knew they were going to play Under the Sun because I happened to catch that kind of accidentally through YouTube, which is a rare song off of Volume 4, which is my favorite Sabbath album, so I was very happy.
Yeah, social media makes it difficult to avoid some of this information. You really have to go out of your way to make sure that you don't see it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, you know, as recently as 10 years ago, you could never find a set list online or anything like that, so you'd never know what bands were going to play. Like now, you got to go out of your way unless you want to know.
Right.
You know, they just post them on Facebook and stuff, and you just see it.
I mean, I didn't look for the Sabbath set list. You know, a metal news media outlet posted a photo of it, and there it was in my news feed, and I thought, yeah, sure, I'll look at it.
Yeah, it was a great set too. Like I was. Excuse me, I was very happy with the set. It was a nice cross-section of material, you know, throughout the 70s. They did play 4 new songs, which, you know, if I
a little
were
heavy on the new stuff.
Yeah, like, you know, I could be a complete prick reviewing things. So you're nodding.
I am aware.
So, like, if I want to nitpick, I could argue that, yeah, I would have rather had, you know, 2 or 3 new songs instead of 4, and I would rather not have heard Dirty Women off of Technical Ecstasy.
I would argue for 2 new songs. Only 2 in this case, because it has been such a long time.
Yeah.
And there are... How many Sabbath albums are there?
Jesus, it's like an Eddie Trunk question.
Oh, okay, you're on the spot. How many are there?
Okay, well, I can get through it.
Okay.
So you have the first album, Black Sabbath, came out in 1970. Then you have Paranoid. Then you have Master of Reality. Then you have Volume 4. Then you have Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, so that's 5. Then you have Sabotage. Then you have Technical Ecstasy, Never Say Die. So there's 7. And then also there was a greatest hits called We Sold Our Soul for...
8.
Oh.
Never Say Die.
I'm sorry, 8.
Okay,
so it's 8.
Okay.
So then you have a greatest hits called We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll, which came out in the 70s before... Okay. But that came out before, it came out like around 1975.
Okay.
So I think it came out before Technical Ecstasy came out, because there's no stuff on there from Technical Ecstasy or Never Say Die. And they put a live album out with Ozzy called Live at Last, which is from a tour in like 1973.
Okay.
That didn't come out, I think, until about 1980.
All right.
So that's
so we're talking 8 studio albums.
Yeah, and then there's another live album too, Reunion, which is the show from 1997.
I just want to go with studio albums. So there's 8.
Yeah.
That's a lot of songs.
Yes.
Some of their songs are long.
Yeah, they have some songs that are 10 minutes.
So, in my mind, I understand they're a band promoting a new album, but you didn't get a bunch of people showing up at this concert saying, I want to hear as much new material as possible.
No, and the album was
Okay.
already #1 anyway, so it's
Right.
not like you
It
really
would-
had
it
to
re- Yeah,
promote
the
that much.
promotion was not necessary at that point, and we're not, at the risk of sounding like a complete ingrate. I just felt that, how many songs have they released off that album?
2.
1, 2? Okay,
Two.
so the 2 releases are the 2 that you wow us with because they're fresh and you're well rehearsed,
Yeah.
and
God is Dead and End of the Beginning.
right. So, and so you add to so if we go on my theory of only 2 new songs, what 2 classic songs would you add to the set?
Well,
This is a question for you, not me.
if they teased this with Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. So
Okay, so
now,
that's possible.
that would have been a great one. Let's see what. Oh, Electric Funeral. They didn't play Electric Funeral.
Okay,
I was kind of
good
looking for
one.
that. Sweetleaf.
Sweet.
Sweetleaf. If I had to pick 2, I'd say give me Sweetleaf and Electric Funeral. I would have loved Tomorrow's Dream too, but that's
Okay.
not as big of a song as those other 2, even though it was a minor hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, they definitely could have filled it in with, and there's, like, with Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Ozzy struggles with that one. It's on the
Okay.
live album from Reunion. It's to me, it's not that good. Even when they did play it live years ago, they would never play, like, the whole song. They always kind of chop off the last 2 minutes.
Okay.
So they teased us with a little bit before they kicked into Paranoid. They played, like, the first 30
Yeah.
seconds or so of it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like being teased, but
No.
but yeah, if I had to pick 2, I'd say give me Electric Funeral and give me Sweetleaf.
Okay.
Definitely.
Alright.
So okay, well now that we've bashed it a bit, let's
Let's go back to actually how great it was.
Yeah, let's be positive here.
It
So
was, yeah.
so we saw it in Holmdel.
Excellent venue.
Excellent. It's an old venue. The PNC Bank Arts Center is about 45 years old or so, and it kind of looks it like it could use a paint job. It's a little beat,
Still an awesome place for a show.
Sound. We've never seen a bad show there. Sound quality's always good. It's always stellar.
Yep.
It's like a round amphitheater that's kind of sunken in the ground,
Yep.
and then it's got a big lawn behind it. So we've probably seen about 10 shows there. I'd say something like that.
I
It's
saw some there in my teen years. I had been
We
there.
saw Tom Petty there
Saw
back
Tom
in
Petty.
back in the
Yep.
80s, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I was there was probably when we went to that Neil Young concert back in like 2000. I had never been there like in the 80s or
Right.
early 90s. Excuse me. But so we got to the venue. Opening act was Andrew WK, and he just DJ'd, and he played some
Yeah.
cool songs and stuff.
Yeah,
But
spun some metal. It was great.
yeah, so we got some Slayer, we got some Dio, we got some
Zombie.
Pantera, Rob Zombie. That was cool.
Yep.
Like, the atmosphere was good. Everybody seemed very happy.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of parents there with their kids.
Absolutely.
There were folks there in their, like, 50s, 60s. There were folks there, like, our age. There were young kids there in their 20s. So it was, like, a very big cross-section of people.
Yeah.
Because, Black Sabbath, to me, like, invented heavy metal.
Yeah.
And it's timeless music. And because of Ozzy and his
It's-
solo career.
I think it's more because of Ozzy and reality show TV.
Yeah, the
introduced
Osbournes.
him to a very young contingent of fans.
That's true.
Yeah. And
That's true.
Ozfest. Ozfest kept
yeah.
things youthful.
Yes.
So
Yeah, like with Ozfest, that was Sharon's creation, because Ozzy at the time, in the early 90s, said he didn't want to tour anymore, and he was burned out, and then he got bored. So then Sharon's like, well, let's do a tour, make you the center of it, and it's a short tour, like just for the summer, or part of the summer, maybe for like a month. And you don't have to do, like, it's not like you're doing a 2-hour set, you do like an
Right.
hour and
It's a
15 minutes or an
shorter
hour and a half set, and you take all these other bands out of to Ozfest with you, and it was some big name acts like Slayer and Pantera and Rob Zombie and stuff like that.
Lots
And,
of good stuff.
Korn and like whatever
and the
was
younger
popular.
the younger metal came out.
Yeah, like Korn,
Even-
Limp Bizkit, that crap,
Even Will Smith's wife came out one year
Oh, jeez.
when she gave heavy metal a shot.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
I don't want to remember that.
No,
Jesus Christ.
no.
So, so the vibe in the place was good.
Yeah.
So we met a few people. Again, I love going to a metal show. It's unlike other concerts. Most people are extremely friendly.
Absolutely.
They're very enthusiastic about music. They want to talk about concerts and albums and bands and like what they like, what you like, and kind of trade ideas and stuff like that. Then maybe you connect with people later on Facebook, maybe not. You know, we have made some friends though, just from going to concerts.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a person that you speak to that night. It ranges from that to making a friend for life to anything anywhere in between.
Yeah.
You know, it's great that way.
Yeah, it's just different vibe. It's different vibe.
Yeah.
You know, than most other concerts.
Yeah, it's definitely not at all the reputation that metal has, that people think it is, who are not fans.
Right. Well,
it doesn't fit the stereotype at all.
No, I mean the stereotype is like we're a bunch of homicidal maniacs, or we're skinheads, or Satan worshippers, or we're alcoholics and drug addicts, or whatever, and we're like a complete fucking mess. Like that's, and we're antisocial, violent people, and that's not the case at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
So yes, it is a stereotype. It's a misconception.
That's just the lyrics.
Yeah. Okay. Some of the lyrics are kind of nasty, but again, it's just an art form. It's just music.
It's a form of expression.
It's like, I like horror movies and I like death metal. Okay. Like so.
Some people like to read horror novels.
Yeah. I mean.
But they wouldn't entertain the idea of heavy metal music at all, and that's fine. But it is a similar idea.
Yeah. It's just an art form. It's just entertainment.
Yeah.
So anyway, so with the concert, so the vibe's good and everything. Black Sabbath came on like about 8:35. They opened with War Pigs, and like I'd heard War Pigs a million times.
Not like this.
Not yet. This it was awesome. Like
not like this. The place erupted.
Place went nuts. I'd never seen Tony Iommi before. His guitar was perfect.
He's incredible.
Tommy Clufatos was filling in on drums for Bill Ward.
It's awesome.
Great job. Very crisp, very precise.
Awesome.
Geezer Butler, great bass player. Definitely one of the best, like one of the best in metal. And Ozzy's voice was very good. I thought it was on.
All things considered, what do you want?
Yeah, he's 64. He's going to be 65 later this year. He just got out of rehab not that long ago. He's got a lot of mileage on his body. I thought he sounded like he didn't move around and interact with the crowd as much as he used to.
No, he did not. But I was impressed at the movement he gave us.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah, he never completely stayed still. He did move around on the stage and interact. But we've seen other shows like 3 years ago where he was really all over the stage and he was yelling obscenities constantly. And
I also think if it's an Ozzy Osbourne concert, he performs differently.
He does. You're right.
Sabbath is more doomy and sludgy.
It's doom metal. It is.
So
you're right.
when he's performing as Ozzy Osbourne, you take it up a notch. And so now, if he were to tour next year as just Ozzy, would he be all over the place again? Or, is some of this really a function of his age? You would just have to go and find out.
Well, we would. I would definitely want to see him again. I love him. So we did War Pigs, and like the first half of the song, he did a verse, or he did a line, and the crowd did a line. But the second part of the song, he sang the whole thing, which I prefer. Like,
you're not a big fan of it.
No, like little crowd singing's okay. Like the War Pigs thing is cool when he sings the first line, they sing the second line.
Yeah.
But when you go see like Metallica, I'm gonna rip Metallica now. They hardly sing any of Master of Puppets, which is one of the best known songs, and that drives me up a fucking wall. Like, I don't like the song live because of that. But anyway, sorry, I couldn't help myself. I love taking a shot at Mars and those boys.
Oh my god.
So they open with War Pigs. It's brilliant. It's awesome. I was blown away. I had chills.
Yes.
I was speechless.
Incredible.
Speechless.
Absolutely.
So then from that they go into the Void, which is a great song on Master Reality. It was a little bit slower than when Ozzy did it 3 years before solo, but it was still good. Mm-hmm. Then we got Under the Sun, which again is a great song off Volume 4, which is the album I have on right now in the background, and it sounded damn good. And then like after that, we got the song Black Sabbath, which was very creepy, very doomy. Ozzy did the evil laugh.
Yeah.
So I was very happy with that. What else did we get? I mean, like, I guess late.
Well, NIB.
Oh, you're right. It's
the best use of an "oh yeah" in a song ever.
that was the best
ever.
Yeah,
You know, that gets best use of the oh yeah, and the Beatles get best use of the yeah yeah yeah.
Yeah.
And the Cars get best use of the clapping.
Yes.
And that's
the
how
clap.
it goes.
The clap. Yeah. Quick. It's gotta be quick.
It's gotta be quick.
Okay. I drew a blank there for a sec. So then, like, after, like, early in the set, after Under the Sun, we got Snowblind. We got Black Sabbath. Now, Snowblind is a very doomy song anyway off Volume 4.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Ozzy do it back in 1992 when he did the solo tour, but I'd never seen it with Sabbath. It was brilliant. Like, it was one of the best songs of the night. His voice sounded perfect. It was very doomy, you know. So then after that, like as you mentioned, Hunt, the best part was NIB. So
NIB.
we got Wall Asleep, which
Yeah.
feeds into NIB on the album.
Right,
I love Wall
right,
Asleep.
right.
So Wall Asleep was great, perfect,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic, awesome. Then NIB kicks in, and now Ozzy had done NIB solo 3 years ago, and it was good, but it wasn't as good as it was 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Like,
Yep.
it was awesome. Everybody was singing along. You could hear Ozzy clearly,
Yep.
even though everyone was singing. His mic was loud enough. He wasn't drowned out.
No.
Actually, I don't think Ozzy was drowned out the whole show.
No.
So again, the sound quality was great. The sound
Yeah.
mix, what the venue had done, whoever their sound guy is, sounded great.
Yeah.
But NIB was like, it was so good it like brought tears to your eyes. It was awesome. It was like, that was, after that, they could, if they ended the show right there, I would have been disappointed because it would have been short. But that's all that's what I really wanted. I wanted like Wall Asleep, NIB,
Yeah.
and it was just like a dream.
Yeah.
It was awesome. After that, you know, we did get, you know, you're going to get Iron Man, you're going to get Paranoid. They did Children of the Grave. Children of the Grave I thought was a little sloppy because at that point it was late in the set and Ozzy was a little tired.
Yeah.
We did get the 4 new
Okay.
songs. Tommy Clufatos did a drum solo, which was really good.
Yeah.
For about 10 minutes, gave everybody a breather.
Yeah.
Show was like just a hair over 2 hours. Maybe it was like 2 hours and 5 minutes. I could have done without Dirty Women,
Okay.
which is the song, you know. But you know,
They gave you some good videos.
they did. They did.
So
It was
that makes
it was Rob Zombie-esque.
Yeah.
It was Rob Zombie-esque. So overall, it was a superb show. One of the best shows I've seen probably my whole life. It might be my top show of the year. It's either that or the Anthrax
The
show. The
Anthrax,
Anthrax Among the Living was
yeah.
damn good.
That was
you
quite
know,
a show.
Like, as far as like a festival goes, of course I'm going to pick Maryland Death Fest, the best festival. But for a single show, it's either the Anthrax show or the Sabbath show.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So we left, like, we stayed to the very end.
Bitter end.
Took a while to get out of there as far as walking out, but it wasn't too bad driving home. And like pretty much everybody stayed to the bitter end. Everyone left happy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was in a good mood. No fights. Like I saw a
No.
few drunk people get taken out, but
Yeah.
there was no brawling. There was no fights. No problems.
No.
You know, no bitching. No, you know, like nobody after the show was complaining about this or that. It was just
no.
like,
Everybody
you know.
was happy.
so, you know, it's a great show. You know, there's talk now that since the album did so well, there's talk that they're going to do a second album. So if they do that, great.
There's talk that there won't be another tour.
Yeah, well, and physically, I don't know if they could really do it. I'm glad we caught
Yeah.
it because you know, this could be it. I mean, again, these guys are in their mid-60s. They're not in the best of health at this point.
Right.
So at some point, it's going to come to an
It's
end.
definitely very special to have seen Tony Iommi.
He's
It's
awesome.
kind of like having had the opportunity to see Jimmy Page.
It is.
It's
You're right.
a once in a lifetime. It's just amazing.
Yes, yes. I mean, he's one of the best guitarists of all time. One of the best metal guitarists. He's right up there. He's got a very unique sound. You know, to me, like him and Ozzy and Geezer Butler and Bill Ward invented heavy
They
metal.
did. They did.
And Tony, with his unique playing style, because he has his fingertips cut off, you know, he had to tune the guitar a certain way in order to play
Yes.
it, and that's what created the doomy riffs that we know. And he's the riff master. You know, he just churns them out.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, so that was a Sabbath show. So let's talk about Gigantor.
Yeah.
Let's talk
When
about.
are we going to talk about David's thing?
Let's talk, sorry. So Gigantor.
Well, there's a bunch of bands at Gigantor.
So at Gigantor, like I'll admit, you know, before the show when they announced who was going to play, I was kind of bummed because like last year at Gigantor, we got like Motorhead, we got Volbeat, you know, and we got Lacuna Coil. So
You like the chicks? Yeah.
yeah, so it was a great lineup. This year, it was like Jason Newsted's band. It's like, okay, cool. You know, I want to see that.
Love
Um,
Jason Newsted.
You know, he's a
He's
cool
awesome.
guy. You know, I loved
Awesome.
his work in Metallica. We were kind of curious what that'd be like.
Yep.
Hell yeah, with Vinnie Paul Abbott's band from Pantera. Didn't know really anything about him.
They were really good.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I really love that stuff.
You know, Black Label Society, Zach Wilde, great guitarist. I think
Please
his voice,
hire a vocalist.
yeah, his voice sucks. I just, you know,
Sorry, Zach. We love you, but please
great.
hire a
Yeah.
vocalist.
So you know, and then the other thing was Device, which is the guy from Disturbed.
Oh, I
so
forgot.
yeah. So going into it, I wasn't really thrilled with the lineup, and with the Super Collider album Megadeth put out, it's pretty different. I mean, like, yeah, it's not thrashy. It's more like hard rock. There's a few decent songs like Kingmaker, but
It feels rushed.
yeah.
That's what I
That's
mean,
what-
I don't know if the band members would agree, but that's what I hear when I listen to
That's
it.
what Doug said.
Okay, well, Doug's a musician, so maybe
Doug-
I'm onto something.
Doug said just what you said. It was rushed so they could go out and get on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my feeling is, I think you can get on tour without it. Now,
Sure.
I don't
Sure.
know what kind of deal or contract they have with their record company, but
And it's a
just
new record company,
speaking,
too.
yeah, he did sign with a new company.
Yeah.
And I think his deal there is it's his label, but he's sort of backed by a bigger label.
Yeah.
So,
He's
you know,
backed
I
by a
don't know.
label like
I
Time
don't know
Warner.
I don't know the details of what kind of deal he ironed out, and I don't know what that meant for him in terms of making his music. But yeah, it just I'll use the line: "The songs weren't done."
Yeah.
Okay.